Welcome to National Eyes. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. A new iron curtain is falling, not of steel, but of tariffs, casting a long shadow over the future of transportation and global cooperation. This time, the battleground isn't divided by ideology, but by fierce economic rivalry and the race for technological supremacy. These new barriers are dividing the global electric vehicle market, fragmenting what was once a rapidly integrating industry. The world's roads, once envisioned as a shared path toward a cleaner future, are now being split by protectionist policies and national interests. The West, led by the US, is raising barriers to shield its automakers from a surge of low-cost Chinese. Policymakers argue these measures are necessary to protect jobs, foster domestic innovation, and prevent an over-reliance on foreign technology. But these moves also risk igniting a cycle of retaliation. Beijing, wielding industrial power and critical resources like rare earth minerals, is striking back with its own set of countermeasures. China's government is determined to defend its position as the world's EV powerhouse, leveraging both its manufacturing scale and control over vital supply chains. The electric car, once a symbol of hope and progress in the fight against climate change, is now a pawn in a high-stakes geopolitical conflict. Each side is maneuvering for advantage, turning innovation into a weapon in a global contest for dominance. Decisions made in Washington, Brussels, and Beijing will shape not just car prices, but the entire future of global supply chains, technological leadership, and even the pace of climate action. The stakes extend far beyond the auto industry, touching every aspect of the green transition. For consumers and workers, this trade war means higher prices, fewer choices, and deep uncertainty about the future. Families hoping to go electric may find their options shrinking, while workers face anxiety over job security and shifting industry priorities. The world's green future is now at risk, caught between nationalist ambitions and economic warfare. As nations dig in, the promise of affordable, accessible, clean transportation hangs in the balance, and the dream of a united global effort to fight climate change grows ever more distant. This crisis has been years in the making. In July 2023, the EU launched an anti-subsidy probe into Chinese EVs, accusing Beijing of unfair support. The US and Canada soon followed, raising tariffs to protect their own industries. Canada imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs, plus new taxes on steel and aluminum. Beijing warned it would retaliate, setting the stage for a showdown. By early 2025, as Western barriers solidified, China prepared its countermove. The target US-made EVs, especially Tesla, the icon of Western innovation. The message: Western economic dominance would be challenged, and escalation would be met in kind. On March 8, 2025, China struck back with a move that sent shockwaves through the global economy and the automotive industry. The world watched as Beijing announced a sweeping new policy that would have immediate and far-reaching consequences for international trade. In a bold and unprecedented step, China imposed a staggering 300% tariff on all electric vehicles imported from the United States. This was not just a minor adjustment, it was a dramatic escalation, effectively slamming the door shut on American automakers hoping to compete in the world's largest and fastest-growing EV market. The message was clear: US companies would now face insurmountable barriers to selling their vehicles in China, a market they had long considered essential for future growth. The financial impact was immediate and severe. Tesla's stock price nosedived within hours of the announcement, and other major US automakers like Ford and General Motors saw billions of dollars in market value evaporate almost overnight. Investors scrambled to assess the fallout, while analysts warned of long-term consequences for the entire American auto industry. Interestingly, the new tariff specifically targeted vehicles made in the United States, but it left Tesla's massive Shanghai gigafactory untouched. This created a unique dilemma for Tesla. While its US-made cars were now effectively banned, its China-made vehicles could still be sold freely. The company suddenly found itself straddling both sides of a deepening trade divide, forced to rethink its global strategy. For American corporations, the message from Beijing was unmistakable. China was willing to use its vast market as leverage, pressuring US businesses and exposing just how dependent they had become on Chinese consumers and supply chains. Boardrooms across America buzzed with urgent meetings as executives scrambled to respond to the new reality. But China's retaliation didn't stop with the United States. In a coordinated move, Beijing also slapped new tariffs on Canadian agricultural products, including wheat and soybeans, in direct response to Canada's own tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. This signaled that China was prepared to broaden the conflict, targeting any country that challenged its economic interests. The world took notice. The message from China was loud and clear. Any act of trade aggression would be met with swift, targeted, and painful countermeasures. No country, no matter how powerful, was immune from Beijing's economic arsenal. The 300% tariff was more than just a policy decision. It was a bold declaration of China's economic resolve and its willingness to defend its interests on the world stage, no matter the cost. With this move, the global electric vehicle industry became the first major battleground in what many now call a new economic Cold War, one that could reshape the future of international trade for years to come. No company is more exposed than Tesla. Elon Musk's careful balancing act between the US and China is now shattered. The 300% tariff blocks US-made Teslas like the Model S, X, and Cybertruck from China, erasing a key revenue stream. A $100,000 car now costs $400,000 in China. Unthinkable for buyers. Tesla's global strategy is in jeopardy, and its reliance on China has become a vulnerability. The crisis deepens. China's export curbs on rare earths delay Tesla's Optimus robot project, revealing the risks of supply chain dependence. Tesla's success was built on global integration. Now that model is under siege. Musk, once the disruptor, finds his company disrupted by forces beyond his control. Tesla isn't alone in feeling the shockwaves of this seismic policy shift. Ford, GM, and other North American automakers are reeling as the new tariffs upend their carefully laid plans for growth and innovation. The 300% tariff slams the door on China, abruptly cutting off a major source of affordable electric vehicles and critical components. This move is forcing automakers and suppliers to urgently rethink their global strategies, scrambling to secure new partners and supply lines, while billions in investments now hang in the balance. Canada, meanwhile, finds itself caught in the crossfire, facing swift retaliation in its agricultural sector as trade tensions escalate. China is targeting politically sensitive Canadian exports, like canola and pork, threatening the livelihoods of thousands of farmers and workers who depend on these markets. Ottawa's 100% tariff on Chinese EVs may offer a protective shield for local manufacturers, but it comes at a steep cost. The result? Higher prices for consumers, slower adoption of electric vehicles, and a real risk of missing ambitious climate targets as affordable options disappear from showrooms. The North American auto industry's deeply integrated supply chain means that pain spreads quickly. What hurts one country soon ripples across the entire continent. Reduced U.S. exports mean fewer orders for Canadian suppliers, leading to layoffs, idle factories, and growing uncertainty for workers on both sides of the border. The dream of a self-sufficient North American EV powerhouse, one that could rival global giants, is being tested before it's even fully realized, as companies scramble to adapt. Protectionism, once seen as a way to nurture local industry, is now threatening the very ecosystem built to drive the green transition, sparking protests and political backlash. For everyday consumers, the impact is immediate. Higher sticker prices, fewer choices, and longer waits for the latest technology. The fallout is economic, political, and environmental, reshaping industry China's control over rare earths is its ultimate tool in the global technology race. Experts warn that tit-for-tat tariffs risk a destructive cycle, hurting manufacturers and consumers worldwide. In Canada, some argue the 100% tariff on Chinese EVs hurts consumers and climate goals, while others say it's vital to protect local industry. Allowing cheaper Chinese EVs could speed up charging infrastructure investment, but also threatens domestic jobs. Some propose a middle ground: moderate tariffs that encourage Chinese automakers to build factories in North America, creating jobs while keeping markets competitive. The debate is fierce, but the stakes are clear. The right policy could turn a threat into an opportunity for growth. The wrong one could stall the green transition. The world faces a choice: fragmentation or cooperation. One path leads to walled-off markets, higher costs, and stalled climate progress. The other requires negotiation, compromise, and a commitment to fair competition. The fate of the electric vehicle and the planet's climate goals hangs in the balance. A fractured green transition would be an economic and environmental tragedy. Global scale and shared innovation are essential for success. Will leaders let the EV become a casualty of a new Cold War, or seize the chance to build a more resilient system? The answer will shape the future of international relations and the planet for decades to come.